Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. Welcome to the online platform Civil Technobricks. Guys, here we will tune for the instantaneous decoding of conceptual knowledge in the field of civil engineering where study elaborates decoding the earth to build a better world. Guys, today we will see the important question answers related to the engineering geology, which are the most likely questions to be asked with reference to the exam point of view. The questions related to the engineering geology are related to the rock mechanics, soil mechanics, or we can say that the orientation of rocks and soils with below to the earth surface. Here we have to investigate the geological subsurface so that the rocks, minerals, their layers, their orientation is to be studied. Here the question related to the concept of unconformity, where the question related to the types of unconformities and its diagrams. Means what is mean by unconformity? There are types of unconformities with reference to the diagram point of view, and we have to check the formation of unconformity. So here the question is of for 5 marks, so that we have to be prepared for that 5 marks based on that marking scheme. Here what is mean by unconformity? And unconformity is a surface representing a significant break in the geological record which caused by non-deposition or erosion between two successive periods of sedimentation. Means the unconformity which is based on the sedimentation, where the geological record is to be investigated. That record must be deposited or must be erosion deposited. With reference to that, we have 4 types of unconformities. The name nomenclature for each one is angular unconformity, disconformity, non-conformity, and paraconformity. Here the angular unconformity, where younger horizontal strata rest over eroded and tilted older strata having angular discordance. Here younger strata which is horizontal unconformity surface is there, and then older strata which is tilted with reference to a number of types of rocks. So for example, the Permian Triassic unconformity in Grand Canyon, USA. Second, disconformity, where younger strata which is horizontal strata rest over eroded surface of older horizontal strata which is the parallel disordance. The example is the contact between the Carboniferous and Permian rocks in many regions. Third one, non-conformity, where younger sedimentary strata rest over unconformity surface of older igneous or metamorphic rocks. The example, the contact between the sedimentary rocks with the crystalline basement in South India. And fourth, last one, that is the paraconformity, where the younger and older strata are parallel. Younger strata and older strata is parallel. There is no visible erosional surface, but a time gap exists that is recognized by fossil or other evidence. This is the time gap. So younger strata and older strata are parallel to each other, where that will be recognized in marine sequence through fossil content or age dating. Means the unconformities represent the gaps in geological time, and they are most important for the geological mapping, interpretation, and earth history point of view to identify the tectonic events and erosion cycles. So here the formation of unconformity, which is a step-by-step process where deposition of older rocks, then upliftment of rocks are uplifted due to tectonic movement, then the erosion due to the environmental activities just like rainfall, then non-deposition, where a period of non-deposition or a gap in sedimentation is followed by the deposition of younger sediments are deposited over eroded surface. So as years by year the sediments are deposited one after another, and that will create layer in coming future. So the unconformities are the surfaces of time representing interruption in deposition or erosion, and they are key, or they are the answers to understand the geological history of formation of rocks. So the marking scheme for that point of view is likewise. So you have to prepare and write your answer based on that neat sketches with reference to the conceptual point of view. Next question related to the disintegration and decomposition point of view. So the rocks are the natural phenomena where we have to explain the process of disintegration and decomposition of the rocks. Here the two phenomena, disintegration, which is a physical weathering of the rocks, where decomposition, which is a chemical weathering of the rocks. So basically we have to check the weathering effect of physical activity or man-made activity or the chemical activities for 5 marks. So your answer must have to be sorted with reference to the process of disintegration and process of decomposition. So here the disintegration is the mechanical breakdown of rocks into smaller fragments without any change in their chemical composition. We didn't check the chemical composition, but the smaller fragments are to be noted with reference to the procedure, that is thermal expansion and contraction, followed by the frost action, where freeze and thaw action, water enters into the joints and pores that freezes and expands, and which causes cracking and splitting with reference to the temperature increase or decrease. Then plant action, where roots grow in the cracks and joints and they exert pressure widening the cracks. Next one will be the abrasion, where wear and tear by moving agents like running water, winds, waves, glaciers, etc. Then unloading and crystal growth. So here the 6 various steps are to be concluded, that the disintegration process, which is related to the physical weathering of the rocks. On the other hand, the decomposition, which is a chemical weathering, where the chemical alteration of rocks by interaction with air, water and dissolved substances, which converting minerals into new compounds. So here the decomposition, which is nothing but a formation of new compound with reference to the chemical reaction with air, water and dissolved substances. So here the process, which includes carbon dioxide for dissolution, then oxygen oxidation, then hydrolysis point of view and carbonation point of view. These 4 process which combines the decomposition of rocks, where soluble minerals are dissolved in water in the solution or dissolution procedure, where oxygen reacts with minerals to form oxides or hydroxides in the oxidation process, reaction between minerals and water with hydrogen ions that leads to breakdown and formation of clay minerals in the hydrolysis process, and last, that is the carbonation, where carbonic acid reacts with mineral like feldspar and calcite that produce soluble products. So this is the actual process for decomposition. So your answer must have to fulfill that process so that your 5 marks will sustain. Most important point of the formation of rock to soil. Here if we want to study the formation of soil from the rock, then this is the actual procedure which will be followed naturally or physically. So this is also the part of disintegration or decomposition, where the fresh rock gets disintegrated, or the disintegration process which will be followed in the fresh rock with the physical breakdown into smaller pieces where no chemical change is occurred. After that disintegration, the decomposition will follow, where chemical alteration of minerals or new substances which form, and at the end we get the soil, which is a mixture of mineral particles, organic matter and water, air. Here the fresh rock which is transferred into soil on the basis of disintegration first and then decomposition second. Means the disintegration that breaks the rocks into pieces, where the decomposition alters the minerals chemically. The both process are acting together in nature, and that forms the soil at the end as output. Last question related to that suitability point of view. Here the 6 marks are assigned just like as a building stone. So we have to check the suitability of building stone of different types of rocks, just like basalt, granite and limestone. So the question is, describe suitability of basalt, granite and limestone as a building stone. So here most important point is the selection of building stone. So the selection of building stone is based on the purpose of structure or the purpose for utilization of that type of rock, then environmental condition where we are using that rocks for construction activity, properties required or the strength, durability, hardness, porosity, appearance. These are all the properties of that rock. Then we have to evaluate the stones based on their types and based on their characteristics. At the end, they'll select most suitable stone which is most economical and durable as per the requirement. So the selection procedure of building stone related to the purpose, environment condition, properties, this is most important to check the suitability. Here the 3 types of rocks, that basalt, granite and limestone. Basalt, which is a dark blackish grayish color, while granite, which is whitish color, and limestone is in yellowish color. So here basalt is a fine grained dark colored extrusive igneous rock which is hard, tough and very durable. Granite is a coarse grained intrusive igneous rock composed mainly of quartz, feldspar and mica, and the limestone is a sedimentary type of rock which composed mainly of calcium carbonate. So the suitability point of view or utilization point of view, which is a basalt rock have very high compressive strength and hardness, suitable for heavy load bearing structures just like retaining wall, piers, bridges, abutments, road metal likewise. Where granite, which also have very high strength and excellent durability, that will be most suitable for important and ornamental work used in column, flooring, cladding, steps, lintels, or any construction activity purposes. That granites are most important for compression and tension performance activity. Limestone point of view, that they are easy to extract from quarry and dressing, and they are more workable. So they have the good compressive strength for ordinary type of rocks. Where the utilization point of view, that will be used for masonry, building rocks, building blocks, flooring, walling, steps, and ornamental works. They burns to lime for use in the mortar and plaster also. So here three various types of rocks and their utilization, which is related to its suitability characteristics and durability point of view. Each rocks have some limitations. That basalt have limitation with difficult to quarry and dress very hard. Then granite have costly compared to other stones, and the limestone they are affected by acids and pollution that dissolves in acidic rain. So here the descriptive part, which is on the basis of property, where we have the comparison of three type of rocks in summarized way, where compressive strength, durability, weathering resistance, workability, appearance, cost and typical usage are the actual legends that are to be used to compare each and every type of rock with reference to its characteristics, property, utilization and availability or suitability point of view. So here the marking scheme related to that, which will be completed by your side, so that you will get the 6 marks. Here the each and every rock which is explained with reference to the characteristics is most important, so that we can check the suitability as a building stone or its application in civil engineering domain. Stay tuned guys, happy learning.